Now recognize Ms. Schakowsky of Illinois for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much, Secretary, for being here today. And I'm just amazed at the attack that you're experiencing from the Republicans right now, who actually, if you know, we're talking about protecting these immigrant children, and yet Republicans want to cut funding for the Office of Refugee Resettlement by $3.3 billion, nearly a 60% cut. So at the same time, they want to harangue you about what you're doing and what you're not doing, and yet seeing an incredible cut. I'm just absolutely appalled, even in light of these horrendous allegations of corporations that are exploiting these unaccompanied children. And I don't see where the Republicans are doing any favors to these children when we talk about such an enormous cut. So I wanted to ask you, what are the implications of these cuts in funding for ORR, and what is this actually going to do to the children that they are saying that the name of this hearing is Stopping Exploitation of Migrant Children. And I just don't see how it happens when you have a big cut like that, but you tell me.
Well, Congressman, there is no way we could sustain that level of cut. The care and well-being of children, you can't do it on the cheap. You have to provide them with appropriate services. We would certainly have to let go of services that are not required by law, such as most of our follow-up care that we try to provide after we have released a child to a vetted sponsor. So those follow-up calls, the efforts to try to reach out to people, that would be near impossible to do with the level of cuts that the House is proposing. But I think that those cuts would also undermine our ability to provide care while the kids are in our custody. There's just no way we could sustain that level of cuts.
Well, let me just say, we've been dealing with this issue, you've been dealing with this issue for a long time. If we are going to be able to move forward in actually addressing this ongoing problem, which in many ways has been created, some of it we can't help, and some of it we have, our very Congress itself has exacerbated. But certainly cuts, I just don't understand. Unfortunately, I was at another hearing as the ranking member of that subcommittee. I couldn't be here. But I don't understand the rationale when we're talking about trying to protect these children and saying, well, the way that we're going to do it is to have a nearly 60% cut in the funding that we're going to do this. Not having been here, I'm wondering if there's anything else that you wanted to add in the last minute or so that I have to set the record straight.
Congresswoman, first, thank you very much for that opportunity. I think you said it well. We have, over the last 2 years, been able to stabilize a very challenging process of caring for kids who oftentimes, as you know, are coming with trauma. The experience is harrowing oftentimes. And many of these kids have come facing abuse. And trying to provide them with the care while they're waiting to go through their immigration proceedings is not easy, and it's not cheap. There is no way that we could do the job that everyone here says that they expect if we are decimated in our funding for that program. That is for kids. This is a program that is for kids. And so I hope people understand. And if they wish us to do more work, even after we have placed them with a vetted sponsor, then I would urge them to issue legislation introduce legislation that changes the authorities, because we don't have authorities that help us try to deal with some of the things that people are accusing ORR of not doing. We make an effort on our own voluntarily to reach out to children, even though they are not required to respond back. It would be helpful if we had the right resources and the right authorities so we can all feel more comfortable about how unaccompanied children are treated. And I hope, just the way we're doing a hearing of HHS and ORR's work with unaccompanied kids, that the chairman will issue an order to have a hearing with those employers who have exploited children to come and testify here to you and explain why they are breaking the law and making kids do dangerous work.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I yield back.